One. And we're on. Okay. So, for those of you who are joining us live, hi, Armina. Yes, it is a totally awesome state, Oregon. So for those of you who are joining us live, we are so glad to have you here. We are the first in a series to help us Californians, those of us who live here in the Glendale, La Crescenta, La Cañada, and Montrose area. Many of us are astonished at how much our homes are worth. And we'd love to make a change, but we have no idea where to go. And, you know, part of it is because we've had the luxury of living in a destination place. And many, myself included, until very recently, been outside of California. So I figured, since I have wonderful friends all over the country who are real estate agents and know their local market incredibly well, why don't I invite them to come onto my Facebook live show, my Digs live show, and talk to us what it's like to move to their state and live in their state. So today, first in the series, first in his name, Greg Fischer. Well, it's because I just saw the last season of Game of Thrones, so I'm kind of like, that's in my head. So, Greg Fischer, first of his name, the Unbroken. What? You are broker of record for Fred Real Estate Group. Is that correct?
Yeah. Really, my official title is Growth Operations at Fred. So
that's the MBA title. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, right. I know. Anything that increases the amount of customers we get to talk to, the amount of brokers that work with us, and kind of do things to expose more people to our company.
Right. So you are not native to Bend, Oregon. And by the way, people, that's what we're talking about today, Bend, Oregon. Lots of Californians going to Bend, Oregon. So you are not native to Bend. So tell us, why did you choose Bend?
You know, a lot of people aren't native to Bend. There are a few. It's interesting. The population has grown a lot, just in general, especially the last 5 and 10 years. Talking about doubling it within the next 20 years. We're about 90,000 now.
Wait, how many thousand now?
90,000.
Okay, so doubling it still wouldn't be as big as Glendale, so that's good news.
Yeah, and there's space, there's room for people to be here. Look, I found out about Bend. It's basically the place that I imagined existed. As someone who grew up on the East Coast, you know, West Coast destinations were always a mystery to me. And I always imagined there was a place where you could ski, bike, be on the lake, do a bunch of outdoors things, but also be around smart, interesting people. And I imagined that place existed. I found out the hard way that wasn't actually Lake Tahoe. You know, Tahoe's great and wonderful, and I know everyone in California loves Tahoe. But I think what makes Bend different is it's a year-round town. There's a real economy. There's a lot of growth, and there's a lot of smart people doing interesting things here. And so I think the biggest difference and what attracted me to Bend is that it was somewhere you could live full time. And it didn't feel like it was just a seasonal destination. The cool thing is it always feels like a vacation, no matter what season it is. It's always wonderful to be here. And so those are the things that attracted me to being here.
So, like, for those of us who know about the Tahoe lifestyle, the town, it doesn't completely shut down in summer because there's lots of hiking and great stuff there. But when you say it's a year-round town, so what do people do in Bend? I mean, what's the economy like? What are the jobs like? What is employment like there?
Yeah, honestly, Central Oregon historically has had high unemployment, and that's always been a consideration for people when they're thinking about coming to Bend, because they know there isn't an interstate that connects us. We're on Highway 97, which is literally a north-south route through the middle of the state. And so because of the isolation, I think that was one of the things that contributed to this kind of unemployment being a hot topic in Bend, and then also some of the old industries that were here, like logging and things like that.
Lockheed is in Bend?
No, sorry, logging.
Oh, logging.
Yeah.
That's sort of the thing that I think about. I sell homes to a lot of rocket science engineers, so
No, I get it. When I was in Fort Worth, we had Lockheed, and I'm a ex-military guy, so I love that. But no, totally the opposite of Lockheed. Like literally.
You tell everybody that you're the one that taught me how to cuss. So just saying.
Well, hopefully I'm a little more refined now, and a few years later. But yes. So now though, there's an amazing infrastructure for jobs in Bend, and so while tourism will always play a part in the employment outlook in Bend, there's tons of tourism here all seasons, and so that's always going to be a big part of Bend. But what you see lately is manufacturing on two fronts: food manufacturing and actually hard goods manufacturing. One of those things is connected to the outdoors. So lots of goods for the outdoors are manufactured here: skis, snowboards, paddle boards, all sorts of things like that. Soft goods side, we're talking about food manufacturing. So Bend has the most breweries per capita, and so one of the biggest breweries, tons of breweries.
Got it. That's why I got the sticker for the brewery beer.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. One of the reasons people come here too is to do this Bend Ale Trail, which is like literally you get like a passport and you visit all the breweries, and they stamp your passport like at each one. It's kind of charming.
Okay, so I've got some beer. I got some beer fans here that might be perking up their ears a little bit, saying beer. That's where we go. Definitely,
like this is definitely number one beer destination there is for sure. And the cool thing about that on the job side is not only are there a lot of jobs because of tourism, beer tourism, and just beer, but beer has laid the groundwork for other food manufacturers to exist and thrive in Central Oregon. So because the breweries like the Chutes Brewery have figured out the transportation and logistics of shipping a product all over the country, other food manufacturers like kale chip makers, health bar food manufacturers, kombucha drinks, and their derivatives.
I'm picking up a real kind of granola-ish sort of vibe going in here. Is that the kind of people who live in Bend? And what are you doing there? I'm just saying. I'm just curious.
So that's a perfect question, and that kind of bridges the next piece of what jobs exist here. So the other thing that couples this sort of manufacturing, especially food and drink, there is a huge technology component to Bend that's constantly growing and becoming more real. So we have a combination of we have a great startup scene. There's lots of angel investors and venture capitalists in Bend and moving to Bend. There are lots of startups in the technology side, small companies, remote workers from Seattle and the Bay Area and LA. People who work for
trying to tell me that it's not all tofu and hairy armpits. Is that what you're saying?
It's not all that. It's not. And that's a good question, because that is a misconception.
Okay.
But I would say that if you enjoy being outdoors, this is the place. This is the place you would go if you want.
If you're getting a yearly REI rebate, then you should consider Bend. Is that what you're saying?
That's true. And we have a beautiful
REI. Chunk it down to you know I don't do sexy MBA stuff, man. I got to chunk it down to real language.
I do think the tech thing is very interesting. The combination of new companies, established companies, remote workers, and then we have some like mid-level jobs with like a Facebook opened a data center about 20 minutes outside of town. So that's more not what you would consider like tech jobs, more than they're like IT sort of jobs. Like, but those things are real too. Facebook, Sony are opening big operations here.
All right, so then let's talk about, what it's like to live in Bend. You've named a pretty wide range of employment opportunities that are growing. I'm figuring that the guy who's manning the tap room is not making $100,000 a year, right? So what are prices like in Bend? Let's just say a typical 3-bedroom, 2-bath house where there's a mom and a dad, and they have some concern about schools. They don't want, like a ghetto school. I don't even know if you have ghetto schools there. I do, but do you? Maybe don't even have that. But they want, fair to better than fair schooling. What would that look like price wise?
Yeah, so you can definitely enter the market in Bend on the outskirts of town at the 350 range for a newer home, right?
Wow. Okay, what's newer for you?
No, newer. Last couple of years.
Because for me, anything less than 30 years old is a new house. So I got to define it, man.
Yeah, it's important. So there's some development, and so these are new homes. They're going to be small yards. You're not going to have the giant pine trees in your yard that some people find so charming about this part of the country.
Define small, Greg, because I don't think we have the same lexicon here.
Yeah, small's meaning like very tiny backyard, very close to your neighbor.
Give me a lot size.
Probably. So, in the acreage world, probably like 0.12, 0.14.
Acres here, we do square footage. So 0.12 is going to be about 7,000.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, see, for us, that's a normal lot size.
It's
not 6,000 to 7,000 for us is just a basic city.
Well, there you go. Basic LA area lot.
Nice. Okay.
350 to get in, right? And then, so that's kind of the outskirts of town, new home, 3.2 kind of stock, right? Okay. In town, so Bend's really a east-west sort of town, divided by the Deschutes River, goes right through the middle of town, and also Highway 97 goes right, dissects town into east and west. So your west side entry-level price point is much higher than that. Much higher and much different landscape. There's homes on hills, there's homes next to rivers, there's homes next to golf courses and this sort of thing. A little bit different lifestyle. Yeah.
So a mid-level manager who wants to be in town, maybe not all the way up to the country club lifestyle, but definitely a person of notice. How much would they be probably spending for a house?
Really kind of between 500 and 600 will get you a super nice house in a prime location on the quieter, more mountainous, resorty side of town. 500 to 600 will get you a nice home.
So a nice house like that, would that also be like a newer home? Would that be a character home? How big would it be? Ish.
Yeah. So really, so we have both. So definitely some character homes, some like 1960s and 1970s ranch style homes that are built on a butte, for instance. I think those homes are really charming. A butte is like bigger than a hill, right? And it's volcanic.
Was that Canadian for about? I mean,
yeah, a butte. No, it's a butte. So those probably homes similar to what you guys have in your. I've seen some of the nice homes that you've had over time, Kendall. So similar to those sorts of styles. Also, some bungalow homes very close to the river are in that range that have probably been remodeled like once in a decent fashion. It's not completely turnkey, brand new everything, but it's probably going to be pretty nice.
So 500 to 600 would put you in the middle to upper middle class. Yes?
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. You can spend more.
Certainly. You got your rich folk places, right? Every town's got to have rich folk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You have a nice selection in that 500 to 600. You might be a little further from the river, but still on the west side of town, which is near the forest and near the ski resort, that are slightly newer, just maybe another mile out.
So all of those who are listening to this Digs Live, I just want you to know, I can sell your upper middle class home for $1 million point whatever. And then you can probably turn around and pay cash for something in Bend and maybe have some left over for grins and giggles.
Well, not grins and giggles. You need paddle boards, kayaks, snowboards, mountain bikes. That's what you use that extra money for here.
I'm getting the general idea that Bend is not your destination spot for the geriatric set.
Well, I think there's a very nice retired component here.
Okay.
I think it's possible to survive here as long as you accept the four-season culture. As long as, even if you're not completely in the culture, as long as you like it and can admire it from afar, I think it's still okay for those folks because we do have a great infrastructure here. I mean, the hospital system is excellent. Every possible shopping destination you would need is here and close by. So it can be done. I just think you need to at least have an appreciation for what the rest of the town is doing most of the time.
Got it. So if you're not into the outdoor sports and you don't want to just do tech and work all day long, what do people who are non-athletically minded, what else do you guys got? Do you have like theaters or what's going on in Bend?
Yeah, there's actually a really good music scene on all fronts. So very common to see, very Oregon style, like bluegrass. You could see bands like this pretty regularly. There's a amphitheater in town where we have major concerts all summer long. So for instance, John Mellencamp is playing next weekend.
Nice.
Johnson is coming to play. Very big bands come to our amphitheater. It holds about 8,000 people and it's on the river. And the river has all these beautiful walkways and stores, especially in the Old Mill District. So if you're just kind of being recreational, a lot of our shopping and a lot of the casual sort of things like concerts are usually done in places that are very walkable and connected to restaurants, bars, and this sort of thing. So definitely still works for the casual person who's not climbing rocks or scaling mountains.
Okay, so I have to ask this question because, our country is definitely in a unsettled sort of place, if you will. What are the types of people like in Bend? Is it, kind of conservative and, tie and jacket kind of a culture? Is it, we already established it's not all tofu and hairy armpits, but, what kinds of people, what's the, vibe of the people that you see?
That's such a good question. And there is a vibe. Central Oregon has a few types of people, but at the end of the day, the general vibe is definitely casual.
Okay.
There is a casual component to this town that can't be ignored. People are friendly. People are not in a rush. People aren't honking their horns in the street. People aren't in a bless you.
Thank you.
People are in a rush in the store. People aren't impatient. There's a very casual and friendly vibe to Bend in general. That's definitely the overarching theme here. And
that's pretty different than your life in New York, huh?
Right? I know. I learned how to I lived in New York City for a few years, and I definitely learned how to go to sleep to like the sound of car doors slamming and taxi cabs honking.
The short stop in the city and then off you are to, crickets.
Right. So I think casual is definitely the first one that I would apply to everyone.
Okay.
As far as like politics and things like that, the town is growing, right? So the common thing that most people are spending their time on is what does it mean for this city to grow? In Oregon, by the way, cities are compelled to grow. So we're compelled to grow within our own boundaries, not sprawl.
Okay.
So right now, Ben's going through a transition point where we're adding some new infrastructure, we're adding some new housing types, obviously adding people. And so a lot of the conversations that are happening today are about what does it mean to have more people be here? How do we provide housing to the baristas or the people working at the tasting rooms? How do we make sure they have housing? Very West Coast sort of problems to have. Those are the things.
That's a big one for us.
Transportation. Ben's a small town, so it's common for people to have vehicles, and if they don't, they live close and can kind of do everything they need to.
Cool.
Yeah, I think generally it's a progressive place in general. There's an interesting mix of, because there's so many new people moving here, there's an interesting mix of progressive matched against some people who have, there's a lot of farmland here too, right? So there's people who've lived here a very long time who have different interests than the people who are moving here now. But those components and those factions coexist in a really nice way here.
Okay. All right. Cool, cool. All right. Well, if anybody who sees this show wants to get in touch with you or somebody at your company to explore further getting to Bend, what is the best way to get a hold of you, Greg?
Absolutely. The best way to get a hold of me, you can check out my website, bendstation.com. Very easy to get a hold of me through there. Our company is Fred Real Estate at fredrealestate.com. We're a big independent brokerage in town, full of friendly people that are happy to help answer questions and that sort of thing. So shooting me an email is definitely the best way. I'll pick up the phone too if you're a person who likes to chat on the phone. I don't mind.
Phone is not your primary, is it?
No, I love it. I do. No, I'm saying I don't mind. I'm like the last year of a millennial, and I'm the one who still uses the phone a lot more. I like
what's your phone number, Greg? I'll stick it up here on the screen.
Oh, cool. It's 541-408-9239. So
9329?
9239.
See, here I am, dyslexic. 9239. Okay, let me stick that up on the screen.
And really, my best advice is come visit once. Come in the summer, realize that we have a true winter, but come in the summer, it's the easiest place you could ever spend a weekend. Nonstop flights from LAX. So most of you guys can get up here pretty easily. Really just come spend a day or two. I'll just warn you that most people who come spend a day or two want to figure out how to stay here.
That's right. That's awesome. Well, yeah. Greg, this has been an awesome little exercise. I hope you guys out there that this exploration kind of helps you figure out, or at least dream. If you were to sell your house, where would you go? And if Bend, Oregon is a place that sounds worthy of exploration, reach out to Greg, get maybe more of your questions answered, and maybe schedule a trip. It's summertime. Kayaking. I saw that you went kayaking last week, something like that, right?
Paddleboarding, just floating on a tube. Hey, if you don't want to paddle, you just get in a tube and float on the river.
Okay, see, doesn't that sound like fun? Not okay. Doesn't that sound like fun for some of you? I've been on a tube on the Truckee River. It was a hilarious story. My brothers, let's like even talk about it. But that was a long time ago. So if you want to get a hold of Greg, take a look at his phone number. It'll be on there. It'll be down below in the comments. It was a lot of fun talking to you. Did you decide if you're coming in August or not?
I'll be in August. I'll see you in August for sure.
So I'll see you in the city. All right. Right on. Thanks, Greg. All right, guys. I'm ending up the broadcast. Hope to see you around town soon. Okay. Did that work? Okay.